Hello, it's a beautiful 68-degree day in November in Chicago, and I have the day free, so I'm going to take advantage of this to go dig up some bottles and maybe find some on the surface. I have a spot that I've been going to pretty frequently. I've had good success there. It's a 1930s to maybe early 1940s dump. I need to go back and make sure that I clean up the area before winter really hits. So part of today is going to be me cleaning up all the broken bottles or bottles I didn't want with trash bags and taking them to a trash can. But then part of the day is going to be me actually looking for stuff as well. And yeah, I'm going to hop on my bike and get going. I recently got my bike fixed up. It was really expensive, but worth it because now I can get anywhere around. In the age of Corona, and these are the pumpkins that are now rotting. All right, let's hop on this bike and go. La 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 la, la 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 la. Alright, I may be risking giving away my spot, but it's so beautiful here on a fall day, and you can kind of see where I've been excavating the bank here. So my goal today is to hopefully get some more bottles that I could sell in my shop, and to also clean up a lot of the stuff I've dug out and throw it in the garbage. See, there's a broken United Dairy bottle. There's a bunch of bottles I've dug up that are either broken or like nothing I can really, not very desirable. So I'm gonna try and clean up some of this stuff today. Okay, I'm doing the best I can with just my iPhone, but you can see the bottle poking out right there. It's got some label still on it. Can't tell what it is, but this is really hard to do with one hand, but poke around. Let's see if I can focus on it. Dig with my hand right here. Actually, I might be able to just pop it out. I need my glove hand. I usually have gloves on both hands, but then I can't use the camera. A lot of these like old cans are just rusty shells, and I can just bust through them just with my glove. What's this? See, it's still got the rusty cap on it. Interesting. Bottom does not say anything. It's got some interesting embossing pattern on it. Yeah, I'm not sure what this is. Some kind of food. But I don't know if I'll hold on to this or not. But anyway, that's sort of how it goes. Check in if I find anything cooler. So I found a couple things so far, nothing amazing. This is the coolest thing I found so far. It's an old milk glass little jar. And you can still make out a little bit of the label. You can see that it was a Johnson & Johnson product. So I'll hold on to that. And then this is also like an old food jar. I found a bunch of these and I've tried to sell them in sets, so I'm gonna hold on to that as well. All right, this is my second trash bag of junk. So I may have dug a big hole in this bank, but at least I'm cleaning up after myself somewhat. There's a lot of just rusty, melted junk here. Can't really haul all that out, but that will continue to deteriorate over time. And I didn't find anything else cool bottle-wise today, of course, like one of the few times I record, but it's such a nice day. I may I may just go for a walk and see if I can find any surface finds along the river. So I'll be checking back in if I do find anything cool. So I went back to another spot I used to go to and I found, it says genuine Boyd cap for mason jars. So this is an old cap that used to go under the metal lid on mason jars. It's made of ceramic or porcelain, I'm not really sure, but it's like a white milk colored thing. So I'm gonna hold on to that. Something really creepy. A bird died and then it got stuck to these burrs on its way down. So there's this dead bird hanging from these burrs. This bird got bird. Oh no. Right, so I'm poking around this area. The water is super low, so I'm able to actually stand in a spot that I normally can't stand. So I haven't been able to look here in a while. And bang, I see this bottle. It is cork top. I can't tell. Unfortunately, it looks like it's just blank. But that's okay. I will still hold on to it just because it's an old cork top. And I can't tell because it's all dirty. But it might be aqua, in which case it becomes more desirable. So I'm going to keep poking around, see if I can find anything else sticking out. All right, see that? Looks like it could be something. I don't know if I'm going to be able to live dig it. Ooh, it might actually be whole. It's definitely got some embossing on it. Oh, I hope it's not broke. It's chipped on the bottom, but if it's otherwise whole. Ooh! Man, it's hard to hold it with my hand. This is some kind of milk jar. I'm going to wipe it off and see if I can get it clearer, see what it is. Okay, this is actually pretty exciting because this is I've found Borden's milk bottles before, but never this size, never this kind of embossing. This looks like it might be, it says Borden's of Illinois. Looks like it might be older than some of the other ones. I've definitely never seen any of my Borden's bottles with this kind of logo on it. I don't know if I can read it in this light. Oh, it says quality service, trademark Borden's. Yeehaw! All right, so some of you like to ask me how I clean my bottles, so I figured I'd show you that now. So I clean them in several steps. Here's the bottles I found in my latest trip. Nothing crazy to write home about. This milk is probably the coolest thing I found. It'll be easier to see why it's so cool when I clean it up. Followed by this Johnson & Johnson with a piece of the label on it still. These are difficult to clean. Honestly, if I touch the label, it'll just come off. If I clean it at all, it'll come off. So I could either leave it dirty and show a tiny bit of the label, but 9 times out of 10, I'll opt to just clean it, and that's what I'm gonna do. So the first thing I'm gonna do is just knock off all the like extraneous dirt here in the sink. Just like do a real quick like rinse, trying to get any of the excess dirt from the inside out, and then I'll show you the next step. Okay, so I've done a preliminary rinse of these. Sometimes I'll use a little bit of one of my bottle brushes. This is my Grody bottle brush and sponge and toothbrush, all this stuff I use to clean off my bottles at the next step, but sometimes if there's just so much caked on, I'm having a hard time getting it off, I'll work with these on the preliminary step before I soak the bottles. This is just a piece of grody old steel wool that I will use later. All right, next step, soaking the bottles. So I like to use a solution of hot to warm water, white vinegar, and dish soap. So I'm gonna do my best to do this one-handed. One of these days I'll get a GoPro. I kind of just eyeball it. There's my white vinegar. Hot water. I've learned the hard way not to make it scalding hot, because then I can't actually reach in there. Because what's going to happen is once it gets full, I'm going to have to put these bottles in there and tilt them in such a way so that they actually fill with the water. And if it's too hot, then I can't put my hands in there for long enough to actually do that. So while the water's going in, I'm going to add a bunch of dish soap. And once that's full, I'll put these bottles in there and I'll let them soak for several hours, usually overnight. Alright, so now I'm going to put them in. See how it bubbles? I got to make sure that they actually fill up. And if it's something with a little neck, it takes a little while. I may leave this metal cap out just so it doesn't further rust. My hands clean that. I'm not sure if that Bayer bottle is actually very old, but I didn't do, I'll do the research later because I wasn't sure. Anyway, now I'm going to let these soak for several hours, if not overnight. I'll see you in a little bit. Alright, it is a day later and my bottles have been soaking in that solution of water, white vinegar, and dish soap. So now I'm going to use a sponge and some scrub brushes to clean them off. Okay, so I got my Borden's half pint milk bottle, still pretty grody. So I'm going to take my grody sponge that I don't use on my dishes, and get the outside. Milk bottles are a little easier to clean because they have this big hole that's wider than the mouth of a lot of other kinds of bottles. And I've got a couple different kinds of scrub brushes. This one's great for milk bottles. Dump it in my solution. I got little bits of rust on it from being against other stuff in the dump. That's where I use a little piece of steel wool. I can't always get all of it off, but whatever I can't get off, I say shows its age and gives it character. Help with the cell. And the light isn't great here, so I'm just trying to see. It's not perfect, but it's already a lot better. The other thing that you can do is take some salt. Any salt will do, but if you have rock salt or something coarser like this unground salt, you can put it, especially in bottles that have a narrow neck. It's less necessary with something like this because I can actually get down in there. But if I had something with a narrow neck, I would add just a tiny bit of water to make it like a sluice and just shake it around, and that helps to erode, you might say, some of the stains and dirt off the inside. Again, this is much more necessary on bottles that have narrow necks that are harder to get into. Yeah, it's got a stain on there that I'm not sure will come up. That's okay. That's part of the character. I know there's other people who know how to get these a lot cleaner. They have tumbling machines that they used ground copper in, and they actually build them themselves, and it spins the bottle. And it only really works on a round bottle, so I guess this would work, but typically they do that with like bottles that are worth hundreds of dollars. I'm not that fancy. So here's another one. Get the outside as best I can. This has a narrower neck. It's got that cork top. I have a narrower brush that's seen better days. This might be a good candidate for using the old salt trick. And different people have different things they use. Some people use bleach, which I find doesn't work as well. Wow, that was pretty easy to clean. Again, I have some rust spots from being up against rusty cans and such in a dump. Wow, this one cleaned really easily. Beautiful corktop bottle. Too bad there's no embossing on it. That's what kind of tells the story and makes it worth money. But you can still tell it's old. It's got the cork top. You can see little bubbles in the glass that you don't see as much in modern glass. All right, I'm not gonna go through every bottle, but anyway, that's how I do it. If you're curious how I find soak clean bottles, and then the next step would be to let them dry and list them on my Etsy store, which is Bryce's Bottles on Etsy. Thanks for tuning in. Bye-bye now, bye-bye.